Well, welcome to 35-1 Roulette Cruising. We've got a strategy sent over by Subhash. It's Fibonacci column, golden entry. It's a Fibonacci betting sequence on a column. Let's check it out. So Subhash wanted me to run this strategy out. Most of us have seen a Fibonacci dozen run. He's wanting to run it on a column. Let's see how it goes. He thinks it'll happen at least within 11 spins. Okay, so our minimal bet will be a $10 bet on a column. But if we go all the way to the top, that's going to be $890 on that bet. Now, I'm not going to build it that way. I'm going to buy in for $400. That's going to get us 7 bets on the column. So let's just see if we can make it happen. So we're going to go in, we're going to buy in for $400. Remember, cash on the table, your CPass card. They scan it, give it back to you. That's how you get your points on the cruise. We don't need this paper because I think I've got it pretty much figured out. All right, so we got $400. We're going to get $400 in red chips here. All right, so our first bet, what he claims is we're going to chase the column that hits. Okay, so every bet's going to be on a different column. So except if it lands, it wins, and we're going to bet that column again. So here we go. That's our first spin there. All right, so it landed on 4. So our first bet's going to be $10. All right, and we're going to go ahead and set out our next bets here. So that's going to be 10, and then we're going to go 20, and then we have to go 30. Right there. So I've got the next 4 bets or 3 bets going there. So here we go. Let's start it out. Let's see if we can make some money with this one. All right, 32. Okay, so we lost that. We're going to the next bet. It's going to be on the next column there. We're chasing that column that won. All right, 13. So we lost that one. Now we're going up to $20 on the first column there. All right, 3. I lost that $20 there. Now we're going up to $30 on column number 3 there. All right, 30. All right, there we go. So we got the win there. And we had $30 on that column. Let's just see what it did here. All right, so right there. So now that's going to be a $20. So a $20 profit over that cycle. So now we're starting back over. We're going to put $10 on there. And here we go. All right, 33. Good hit there. Went on that column there. That's $20 profit there. Keep that $10 there. Now we're bringing these profits back to our rack here. Let's see if we can just fill that rack up. I think we need to establish a walkaway. So let me separate that. So here we go. We got $20 there. We got $20 for the first one. Okay, so there we go. So $20, $40 total right there. Let's have a walkaway of $100 with this one. Let's see if we can do it. All right, so that column 1, we'll leave that $10 there. Bring that $10 to our stack here of profits. All right, 00. Okay, so when that happens, I probably would just keep it on that column. Okay, so we're going to lose that 10. We're going to just replace it. Now, you very well could say, I'm just going to wait for one more spin, let another column get established. Completely up to you. But hey, we've already lost $10. Let's go ahead and try it and see if we can get lucky on it, okay? There we go. All right, so hit 12 there. Okay, so there is that win there. We'll leave it there and replenish that. And here we're going to take just $10 back to our profit stack now. All right, 25. Okay, so we lost that $10 there. All right, reset on the first column now. 26, lost that first column. Moving over to the second column for $20. All right, 6. All right, lost that $20 bet. Going up to 30 on the third column. All right, 17. Lost that $30. Now we got to go up to $50 on the middle column. All right, 32. There we go. All right, let's see how much profit we've got on that spin there. So there's the 50 there. And there it is. All right, we're going to bring all that back to our rack. And I think we have met our goal of a $100 profit. So let's rack it all. Let's just make sure. All right, so with the Fibonacci column golden entry strategy that Subhash sent over, we bought in for $400, running Fibonacci, chasing the column that just hit, okay? We had $400 in, we got a profit of $100. It took us 13 spins to do it. All right, let's do it again. So another $400 buy-in and see if we can make it happen again. So we're going to reset our spins here. Let's reestablish another column real quick. Okay, so 28's our first bet here. So there we go. On the first column, it's $10 on that first column. All right, 11. Lost that $10 bet there. $10 on the middle column. $36. Lost that $10 bet. So here we go, $20 on the third column there. All right, 15. All right, so that's the $20 on that column over there. So that should be another $20 profit. Now we're dropping back down to our first bet. And we're bringing that $20 profit to our profit stack. Here we go. $34, we lost that column there. And $10 on the first column. And 12, lost that $10. $20 on third column. $32, lost that $20. And we got to go $30 in the middle. And 16, lost that 30, going up to 50 on the first column there. And 3, lost to 50. Now we're going up to 80 on the third column there. And 1, lost that $80. All right, so here we go. $130 right there on the first column. And we hit 3. Okay, so we lost that 130 right there. Now, we could go ahead and buy in for more. Our next bet will be $210. So, let's see. Let's go ahead and buy in for $300 more. And let's see, so we're going to get 300 right here. And so our next bet would be $210. All right, here we go. Cross your fingers. We need this win right here. And if you don't mind, hit that like button for me. I sure appreciate it. And 0. Okay. All right, so we lost all that. All right, so we're in a total of $600 with the second session here. And we're going to go ahead and walk away with $180. So $180 walk away. and we went 11 spins with it. But you can see how it can go. It gets expensive. With the $400, you have 7 bets. We went 8 bets, and it still missed. Okay, and then we're on a 0 there. So the next spin would be over on the third column for $340. Yeah, something like that. $340, I think, is where we would be. So let's say we bought in again. Let's just see if it would hit on it. If we stuck with that column over there. And 33. Okay, so it would have hit. Okay, but that would have been another $300+ that you'd have had to put out on the table. So we'd have had to buy in for another $200. So we'd have been $800 into this strategy to get up to bet 9. All right, so let's reset it. I want to run it one more time and see if it can work out again. So I'll be right back. All right, so I'm going to buy it again, start a new session, $400 buy-in. And let's see, our first bet, we're going to go ahead and reestablish a column here. Go ahead and get my bet set out here, 10, 10, 20, and 30. Then we got to go to 50. All right, then we hit 8 right there. Okay, so 8. The middle column will be our first bet at $10. And if you wanted to, you could buy in for $200. That's going to buy you 6 bets. So buy in for the $200 and try to see if you can make it happen in 6 spins, right? All right, 10. I lost $10 there, $10 there. All right, 18. Lost that 10. And 20 over on the third column. And a 0. Lost that third column. $30 on the third column again. 28. Lost the 30. All right, here's 50. And 6. All right, we're going up to 80 on the third column. 4. All right, lost that. Now here is $130. $25. All right, we finally hit it. All right, let's see what we got here. All right, there we go. I'll bring all that back to my rack here. And we're going to reset because we're not $100 in profit. $10 on that first column there. So here we go. All right, double 0. Lost that 10. Let's go $10 again on the first column there. $11. Lost that $10. There's $20 middle column. All right, we got 1. Lost that $20. Going up to $30 on the first column. $34. All right, so let's see. All right, we're going to drop that back down to $10 on the first column. All right, 21. Lost that $10. $10 on the third column. And 17. Lost a 10. $20 on the middle column. $25. Lost a 20. Here's 30 on the first column. And 13. Okay. think that might have got us our $100 profit that we were looking for. All right, there it is. All right, so we're gonna bring all that back from my rack. Let me rack it up. I'll be right back. All right, so that's the end of session 3. Bought him for $400, walked away with a profit of $100. So out of 3 sessions, we were profitable 2 of the 3. We lost $600 on the second session. Well, not quite $600. We lost 400 plus, okay? This time here we went 14 spins with it on session 3. So there it is. That is the Fibonacci column golden entry strategy that Subhash sent over. So let's talk about ratings. Now, as far as comp value goes for this one, comp value is tough on this one just because you start with $10. You got $10, $10, $20, $30, $50, $80, $130. Okay, so that's where I would be just with the $400 buy-in. So the pit boss coming by and looking at the table and calculating your average would be tough with this one just because you're here for such a short amount of time. You're only here for 10 to 15 spins is probably the average with this one that I would play this one to try to make that $100 profit. Now we could sit here for a little longer and grind out another $100 if we wanted, but in my opinion, shorter session gives you more of a chance to be profitable with this strategy here. So as far as comp value goes, comp value for this one, I'm going to give it a 2. I'm just going to give it a 2 because it starts at $10. And, $10 for 2 times, and then, just increasing like you are, you've got to really take a chance of the pit boss coming by at the right time. So let's say he comes by and you have that $80 bet out there, then your average is $80. But if you're at $80 and you're only there for like 4 more spins, it's really not going to make a difference. So, comp value, just going to be a 2 on this one. Profitability. Profitability is decent with this one. 2 of the 3 sessions we played, we were in profit $100, but with the 1 session, we lost $400 plus. Okay, so we're kind of in the negative as far as profit goes for the strategy, including our comp value, which is not very good. So makes it where it's not exactly the system that I would play just for profit potential, right? So as far as profitability goes, I'm going to go ahead and give it, a 3, okay? Because we're kind of middle of the road. We lost a little money over those 3 sessions, but you might could grind out another $100 out of it if we stretched it out a little bit longer. So there's a chance there. So let's just go with a 3 on profitability. Now, ease of setup for this one, not too bad. If you just buy in for the $400 like I did, go ahead and set your bets out like I did. It makes it a little easier to keep up with where to place your bets and what to place, okay? So, ease of setup for this one, I'm going to go ahead and give it a 3 as well. The only reason it's a 3 and it's not a 4 is, because you've got to keep up with your bets and the Fibonacci sequence part of the bet, okay? Keeping up with where to place the bet, not very difficult. So let's just go with 3 on that one. All right, so there you have it. That is the Fibonacci column golden entry strategy that Subhash sent over. If you got a strategy you want me to run out, send it to me at roulettecruising@gmail.com. I like anywhere between a $300 to $500 buy-in, and I try to go 20 spins with it just to test them out and just see how they do. I try to go a couple of sessions with it like I did with this one and just give it a chance to work. And if it doesn't work, it just don't work. But sometimes it works out, sometimes it don't. All right? So, if you don't mind, hit that like button for me. And if you're not subscribed, make sure to subscribe to 35 to 1 Roulette Cruising. And until next time, happy cruising. We'll see y'all. Bye.